in 1994, and I still remember the day when I did 2 different school visits. One of them, they had to rope in some random guy to give a tour. He wasn't on any schedule, and we don't think he was really an official tour guide, but he was made fun of the whole time by all of his friends as we were walking through their campus, saying, "Ha, Johnny, you're giving a tour, ha ha, look at you," and he was horrible. And I left campus immediately right after the tour, said, I'm not looking back at that school. Then I went to the school that I ended up going to, and the admissions people were super cool. They hooked me up with somebody in the music department to talk to, in the history department, and they were super friendly. And I always carry that with me because it really made it or break it for me. That other school, I don't want anything to do with them. That's the kind of students and the representation that they have. The other school, they've got something going, really well for them. San Diego State, here we are. This is an exciting time to be here. How many of you are first-year students, second-year students, third-year students, fourth-year students, fifth-year students? Okay, so a good idea of you're far enough away from the admissions process where it's probably in the back of your mind somewhere, realizing that you've taken the step to become an SDSU student, and no doubt you're a proud asset. For those of us who've been here, this is my 16th year working on campus, this is a really exciting time to be here. The numbers that we're looking at for the caliber of students who are coming into school, the look and feel of the campus, it didn't always look and feel this way. It's beautiful, it's amazing. Sometimes the university sometimes sells itself, and we're just really helping that student who walks in our door and says, this is the place for me, I've just looked around. We're making sure that that student, we're sealing the deal. The third thing that we do in our office is recruitment initiatives, strategic recruitment initiatives. We are looking for the best and the brightest out there in California and in other places. We have initiatives right from the President's office to make sure that we have a slice of our population who are not California residents, who are either from other United States, so they're non-residents, or they're international students. And those students we're very conscious of. We do a lot of data mining, we do a lot of strategic efforts to try to get out there and bring students to San Diego State from a lot of different demographics. And so it's this large collaborative process where we're looking at a program that we can get students into the university and make sure that we have that great face to them. So you'll be asked to do not just our family tours, but also group tours where we have specialized groups of students who come and visit campus. And they're all over the map. Sometimes you have a group of students who are the most disciplined group you've ever seen, 20 students and a chaperone, and they are lined up in a straight line for you to take them out on tour. Other ones, not so much. They're running around, everywhere, and the chaperones can't get them in order. So there's good and there's bad. But overall, we still have that one same message. I want to very briefly talk about admission requirements, just so you have the context of really what it takes to get into the university. For any high school senior, pound for pound, we're looking at very high SAT scores or ACT scores, very high GPA, and making sure students have completed all of their college preparatory courses called the A through G course listing. In your view books that we give out to all of our visitors here to campus, we give them 2 things. This view book that has a lot of info about the university, just in one pamphlet, and then we also give them a campus map, which I'm not giving you today too, because our order is coming in tomorrow for our restocking order. We only got about 50 left in the office. Has our timeline to apply for admission on the very back, October 1 through November 30th every year, coming up in just a couple weeks here. We only enroll for the fall semester. We don't do any spring admissions except for a very, very small population of veterans and military dependents who we have by appeal coming in to start in the spring. But everything's geared for a fall enrollment, and that's really for freshman admissions, GPA test scores, and A through G college prep courses. That's it. We're a California State University, so we're one of 23 CSUs throughout the state of California. All of us look at academic proficiency for admission. We don't look at letters of recommendations. We don't look at a personalized essay. Some students who are visiting are going to think that their visit makes it or breaks it for them. In our eyes, we're not sitting down and actually interviewing any student and putting notes on their admissions record and having that reviewed. unless they're really horrible and they're abusive or something, then we make tons of notes on them. But that being said, it's all academic based. So that's really hard for a lot of students and prospects to understand. They may be a great student with a lot of extracurriculars and a really compelling personalized story, but academically speaking, if we can only admit a third of our students who apply, there's a chance that student may not get in. It's different at private universities and the UC schools, but that's the reality of being a state university. Transferring students from our community colleges will no longer look at high school work. We evaluate them based on the courses that they've taken from the first day they step foot at the community colleges. So we look at specific college courses, we look at GPA in those college courses that are credit bearing. We do not look at any of the high school coursework or SAT or ACT scores. Students have to do 2 years really of transfer work, so it's a 60-unit requirement. In the most perfect sense, students who are transferring to San Diego State would have all the same exact equivalent requirements as our students have the first and second year, doing at least 60 units to get you up to upper division, all your major prep courses, all your general eds completed, and then a GPA that's consistent with your major. So if you're a business student, 2.9 is going to be not just your major GPA you need to advance to upper division, that's the GPA we look at for all entrants for our transfer students coming into the College of Business. And then graduate school is so vastly different. Different grad programs have different dates so that they take the applications. They all open up October 1. All undergrad programs close November 30th. Some grad programs are extended all the way through March to take those applications in. Something like our philosophy program. I was a philosophy major, so I always give a shout out to the philosophy department. It's very easy to get into grad school in philosophy. They don't want anybody to know that. But just take the GREs, have a decent GPA, and you can get in. But if you want to be a social worker and go through and do our social work degree, it's very hard to get in. Our women's studies program, they've got like a 7% acceptance rate. It's one of the best programs in the country. So it's very different for graduate school. So then we as staff employ those respective departments to assist us in talking to those students. Grad students are pretty easy. Come in, tell them about the application, and then ship them off to the department to talk to department advisors. Undergrad, we do all that legwork, talking about admission, all that kind of stuff in our end here. So to round up into, we're going to walk next door, right? Still we won't have time. You don't have time? Yeah. So you've all seen the Prospective Student Center, right? So don't be afraid, come on in and say hi. What I want to wrap up with is that we're not going to bite your head off with any questions. My biggest stickler points is making sure that when you're visible, when you're walking down kind of the aisle to get to the front of the PSC, you never know who's walking past you. You never know who's watching you too. Not in a creepy way, but watching you in the sense of like, there's a parent and a high school junior, and she's really intimidated about just being on a college campus. Everybody seems so old, she doesn't see herself going to college, maybe she's shy or doesn't know where she belongs. She's watching you to see how you're interacting with everyone else. And what's your demeanor? How friendly are you? Are you going to bite her head off? So keep in mind, I bring that from my own experience too. I was really, really nervous going to visit these campuses. I was just super shy, could hardly talk to professional admission counselors. I couldn't do it at all. I needed to have my dad talk for me. All these things that now I'm just like, come on, no, I don't want to hear parents, I want to hear stories from the students themselves. But I was one of those shy students, so it's always about the impression. And when you're on for your tour time and you're coming into the Prospective Student Center, please greet all of our guests and all of our visitors. The tour really starts the moment that you're visible in the red shirt and being that ambassador for the university. It really does start, you're 24/7 for you, but specifically as an ambassador when it's your tour time and you're on, then just know that that whole time, not just when the tour is actually starting with your speaking points, but that whole time is really when the tour starts. And then, get to know our staff. You can introduce yourselves, or staff may introduce themselves to you, but get to know if you have a specific tour time, who's working in our Prospective Student Center. It's a pretty standard schedule, so you'll see the staff and students there on particular days and times, usually frequently, and just being very positive, and yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, well, thank you so much, Matt, for being here.